hope you guys had a great fall break. We are going to go over, technically it's Module 4 in the new book, which is networking, but in the old book it was Module 7, and I like the placement of where it was in the old book because I don't want to introduce you guys into networking in Module 4 because that's way too early. So here we are. I kind of placed it back where I thought it should go. And you guys should have enough familiarity with Windows now to kind of understand and digest some of these topics. So today we're going to do kind of a hodgepodge mixture of going over the study guide, but also I want to do some demonstrations with you guys that will also help you with your lab. So we're going to talk about kind of some troubleshooting, I'm saying a lot, some troubleshooting techniques if you aren't having internet, if you're having problems with your internet, so on and so forth. So basically I created another virtual machine. Oh, come on, play nice. Because I wanted to mimic some issues and kind of show you where to go to fix them. So my VMware is causing me lots of issues because it's utilizing a lot of my memory. So let me just go ahead and suspend that guy. And hope he goes to sleep. Okay. So let me get back into my Windows 10 and to kind of show you a few things first. I'm going to go through and I'm going to add, oh, okay. It didn't like that. Fantastic. Okay, so I have another network adapter that I am adding. So there's multiple places that we can go to change an IP address, to check out networking issues, so on and so forth. So my preferred tool of choice, again, you've probably heard me say, is Control Panel. Love Control Panel. I love how it's organized. There's a lot more tools I feel like at my disposal that are clearly laid out. And so I 100% prefer Control Panel over using settings. But again, I'll show you here. You can do a lot of the same things, okay? It's preference, okay? So I can go to change adapter settings here, but I can also go into network and sharing, and then I have my adapter settings here as well. It also shows me what type of network I am connected to. And our options are, we have public, private, and domain network, which is question 2 on your study guide, right? What kind of types or what types of networks are there? So right here is showing that I'm on a public network. Whereas on my host system, so my daily driver, I should be on a domain. Hold on here. Nope, I don't want to do properties. Go back. Let me open Control Panel on my host system. And if I go to network and sharing, I'm connected to a domain. So, and that is because in my classroom, I do have my own domain, which is hosted by my domain controller. And for whatever reason, this one is showing as public, even though technically, I mean, it's a private network. But there are multiple ways and places. Let me go back to number 1, where you can change IP addresses. There's multiple ways that you can change IP addresses. So Control Panel, you can go to settings. You can also go down here, right, and right click and go to open network and internet settings, which takes you again to settings. Okay, so basically this is where we want to get to, is our network connections, where we can see our network adapters. Okay, so I have one currently that is disabled. I want to make sure I don't do the wrong one. So if I wanted to change my IP, I would go to change adapter settings. I would right click and I can go to properties, click on IPv4 if I'm changing my IPv4 address, or click on my IPv6 if I'm doing an IPv6 address. So as of right now, DHCP is controlling my IPv6 properties, okay, and my IP settings. So basically my DHCP server hands out all of the IP addresses. So basically I say, hey, I need an IP address, and my DHCP server gives it to me. Now if you're at home, your router or your modem plays the part of being a DHCP server. So it hands out those IP addresses to all of your devices, right? Because you need an IP address and you also need a MAC address to connect to the internet, okay? But just know that we can change those, right? I can set them if I want to. I can tell my DHCP, nope, I don't need an IP address for you. I want to statically set it. So basically, when you would want to statically set an IP address is if you had a server, because you never want those servers to bounce around with different IP addresses. You always want to know where they're at. So you would statically set that IP address. So you would select, use the following IP address, and then here is where you would set it, and it won't change, okay? So let me get out of here. I'm going to disable this one really quickly. I'm going to go to properties again, make sure okay. So I'm obtaining it from my DHCP server. So if I were to open command prompt, I could go ipconfig, and it will tell me my IP address, 10.10.1.43. Okay, I didn't set that. My DHCP server said, here's an IP address. Here is the network you belong to, which is my subnet mask. Here's how you get out to the internet. Okay, default gateway. That's how you get out. Okay. Now, it will also hand out some cool information like my DNS server, which is my phone book of the internet. So here's the address of my DHCP server. Here is the address of my DNS server. Okay, my DNS server holds all my records, so I don't have to memorize IP addresses if I want to go to WIT domain or website, if I want to go to Google, if I want to go shopping like Target, Walmart, whatever, right? I don't have to memorize their IP addresses. I don't want to memorize their IP addresses, right? That's what my DNS server does. It is the phone book of the internet, right? For any of you that remember phone books, it'd be impossible, right, to memorize all those phone numbers. So instead, you had a phone book and you would look it up in the phone book. You want to call Aaron. So, hey, here's Aaron's name. Here's Aaron's phone number, right? Then you can call it. Your DNS also keeps those records. Hey, I want to go to google.com. Okay, I'm lucky enough because I have a DNS server to be able to type google.com. Okay, now if you don't have a DNS server, so let me show you something here. I'm going to make up something crazy in here. I'm going to do 10.1, oops, I'm going to put something in my network so I actually know I don't have it. 10.10.1.25, we'll try that. And let me try and get out to Western Tech. It still works. Why is that still working? Probably because I'm using a virtual machine, is my guess. Yeah. Darn it. Well, let's do this. Okay. So, basically, this is how it would look. Okay. I'm going to try and simulate it, but if you did not have shoot, that's not going to work. Show available networks. Nope, don't do that. I need to enable this really quick. if I did not have DNS, I would have to type in 8.8.8.8, which is technically Google's DNS, but it's not gonna like that because I don't think it's reachable via, let me try, let's do ns lookup ooh. Oh, no, it's not liking it. Okay. Okay. Now it's saying, nope, we can't do that. Okay. That's okay. So this is what would happen, right? It has no record. It's like, what are you doing? Okay. So, why do I keep clicking that? I don't know. Let me go here, here, here. Let me go back. I'm going to get that DNS IP from my DHCP server. I'm going to force restart it. Okay, another good troubleshoot technique, force restart it. Okay, and then I should be able to get the IP address for WIT. Now, if I did not have my DNS, I would have to memorize that IP address to get to Western Iowa Tech. So 216.117.5.141. Ooh. Ooh. So it's hosted by Microsoft. Interesting. Not secure. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's try, hold on. Let's do Western Iowa Tech. Oh, did I do .com? Nope, I did .edu. wtcc.edu. Interesting. Well, let's see if it can bring me to my WIT. Hold on here. 1 second here. I don't think this is going to work. Let's do... I don't think this is going to work. Oh, we got multiple for Amazon. Let me do 9887.170.71. Hold on a second. Okay, demonstration failed. Anywho, okay. Technically, I would not be able to. Moral of the story, I would not be able to do Western Iowa Tech and be able to find it without my DNS server. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's talk a little bit about network discovery. So I am going to go here. I do have it turned on. So network discovery allows me to have shared folders within my virtual machine, but it also allows me to find servers on my network. Okay, so basically, right, if I had this turned off, right, let me turn this off, let me save my settings here, and then if I were to refresh, I would not be able to get to my shared folder, okay, or my server, or whatever it may be, okay, it's not going to populate. So with network discovery, it's kind of an easy way to control how your computer views other computers on the network, okay, which is question number 3. And then when I turn it on, right, I'm available to all, sorry, I need to readjust here. When I have that turned on, that I can see other computers on the network, they can see me. And yes, number 4, we can turn network discovery off, as I do here. And then if I wanted to turn it back on, I could either turn it on here or go back into Network and Sharing Center, go to Advanced Sharing Settings, and turn that back on. Okay. All right, so let's do it this way, and we're going to turn it on. And then it'll take just a little bit, and my shared folder, which connects from my host to my guest, so my host system to this VM. Okay. All right, so next question, what are protocols? These are just rules for communicating across the network, right? They keep everything smooth sailing, right? Think of the rules of the road, right? Everyone's supposed to follow the same speed limit. Everyone is supposed to merge a certain way. Now, obviously, we're humans, and we don't listen to those protocols, those rules. And so we have traffic jams, we have congestion, right? And there's issues. Whereas on a network, we don't want that. So there's protocols, there's rules, and everything follows those rules, right? Which is why we don't have that congestion, okay? It defines how much data can be sent, okay? And the format of the data as it crosses the network, okay? So, protocols, we talked about a few of them already. Let me go a second here. IPv4. It supports IPv6. We have our link layer, our protocol driver, what else? Link layer, discovery responder, our mapper IO drive. Okay, so we have all of those protocols that are supported by Windows 10. Okay, all right, so let me get into Device Manager really quick so we can talk about number 7. All right, so in Device Manager, we actually have network drivers, okay? So a network driver, right, this is Device Manager, which is where we can make changes to our drivers, where we can update them, uninstall them, etc., right? So same is true for our network drivers, right? It's responsible for enabling our communication between Windows 10 and our network device, right? It's that software. It allows it to interact, right? Between our computer, okay? All right, so TCP and UDP. All right, so the difference between TCP is we want to make sure that the other device is listening, right? So our information is, I'm going to give you the simple, right? Hopefully you have all had Sandy, or you took my in-person class for the 121, but basically top level, TCP cares if you're listening, UDP doesn't, right? UDP is very useful, right? It doesn't sound like it, right? UDP doesn't care. It doesn't care if you're listening, it doesn't care if you're sitting there watching, which makes it good for streaming services, listening to music on Spotify, right? It's still playing even if you're not there. Whereas like banking information, we care, right? We don't want it sending that information like back and forth willy-nilly whether you're there or not. No. We don't want that. Email, same thing, right? So TCP cares, UDP does not care, okay? Very high level, okay? Do all devices on the network need unique IP addresses? Why, yes, they do, and let me show you why, okay? I'm going to disable this guy, and I'll show you why in just a second. Alright, what is my IP? IP config. Ooh, this is a no-no address. This is a 169 number. Okay, 169 is an APIPA address. APIPA means I have an issue. Okay, so let me see. I'm just gonna kind of poke around a little bit. Okay, and I'm gonna try and go to google.com. Okay, Eastern Iowa Tech. Whoa, what happened there? Okay, I can get here, but I was already there, so it could be my cookies. Okay, can still get there. Interesting. Okay, but I have an APIPA address. Can I ping my default gateway, which is my way out? Okay, I can. Can I ping my loopback? Loopback is like a tool that is used for troubleshooting. Basically, it means home. Okay, I'm good. So, I have some connectivity. So I'm going to open up my other virtual machine. Okay. Uh-oh. Please don't do this. It was just working. Okay, let me... I'm wondering if it was because this one won't suspend. That's my guess. There we go. Are you suspending? Yes. Okay. I was taking up like more than half of my memory on my actual host system. So yeah, it was causing some issues. There we go. Okay, so here is server 2012. I'm not going to make you guys use this yet unless you take my server class online with me. You guys will be server pros, but I just kind of wanted to show you some network issues, and so I just powered on my server and kind of created a problem on purpose. So, alright, open network and sharing. I don't know why that's enabled. I don't want that enabled. Okay, 1010, that's good. Alright, so if I were to do, so you remember my IP, oh, talking and typing is hard, especially when my brain is doing one thing and my fingers are doing another. Alright, but you remember my IP address, right? Ooh, I have, okay, interesting. Let me, whoop. Okay, I have a PIPA address here, so I got some weird stuff going on. That guy is working. We are able to get to Walmart. We can try Amazon. We're able to get there. Let me try my server here. Now, I'm going to show you what's wrong here in just a second. It's not as broken as I thought it'd be, which is kind of disappointing. Oh, alright, and we're able to get to that. Alright, so here's my IP address, right? 10.10.1.100. Okay, so this is showing up just fine. I can get to stuff, no PIPA address, this is good, okay? And this may look like a weird IP address. This is basically just what I gave my network adapter, which is why this is handing out this totally kosher, right? But then if I were to go and look at my IP address for my Windows 10 system, I have the same IP, okay, which is causing my issues. Now, if I change this to 10.10, now even though it's set statically, right, I'm still getting that a PIPA address. Something's wrong. A PIPA means something's wrong, okay? So if I change that by 1, okay, and I know for a fact I don't have this assigned to anything else, so I can, which the nice thing again about DHCP is you don't have to like memorize all the IP addresses, okay, on your network, because DHCP does it. It tells you which addresses have been used and which ones haven't, so you don't have to keep track. Okay, so now when I do that, I don't have the same IP on 2 systems. Everything's working fine, okay? So, if you're having internet issues, check your IP. If you're getting in a PIPA, you know something is wrong, right? What number are we on? 12? No, sorry. 9. All IP addresses need to be unique, because if you have 2 conflicting ones, you have issues, okay? 10? How are our, ooh, I just closed out of it. Let me pull it up on my server. All of our IP addresses, number 10, are in dotted decimal notation. So 10.10.1.100, dotted decimal notation. Okay, and again, if you've taken Sandy's class or my class, you know binary, decimal, hexadecimal. Each is the reason for that, right? Because computers talk in binary And then we can convert binary into decimal, which is how we figure out our IP addresses, where they can start, where they should end, etc. Okay. All right. Loopback address, what do they do? I did show you that. That was that 127. Oh, and I closed out of it. I forgot. So, sorry, let me ping that loopback. 127.0.0.1. Again, typing and talking is hard. Okay, IP address, right? So pinging that loopback returns to the computer that sent it. So me means home, right? It does not actually go out into the actual network. All right. Again, your IP address of your loopback number 12 is 127.0.0.1. If you're ever looking for nerdy shirts, you'll see some that it says there's no place like, and then it says 127.0.0.1, no place like home. Kind of a play on the Wizard of Oz, you know, like, yeah. Okay. What is a broadcast address? Ooh, broadcast. All right. So we reserve that broadcast address. A broadcast address is 255.255.255.255.255. We cannot use that for anything. It is specifically, again, used for broadcast. So basically, if anything needs to go to all computers on the network, data that is sent to the broadcast address cannot leave the local network through the router. Okay. Again, the IP address 255.255.255.255 is the IP address of your broadcast. 15. An IP address is what did I do there? IP address is composed of a network ID, okay, and your host ID. Let me do this. Okay. IP address, network ID, okay. Oh, sorry, network ID, IP address, host, okay. So the reason that I know that this is my network ID, right, 10.10.1, is because these are full. And we'll get into that a lot more when we get into subnetting in networking, okay. And then this would be my host ID, okay. So IP address is configured of your network ID and your host ID. And then your subnet mask, okay, defines what part of the address is the network ID, okay, and which is the host ID. So 255, 255, 255, these are full, right? We can never go to 256. So these are full. So that tells me that I cannot change any of this, okay? Which means this is my network. This is the only part that can change, which is my host. All right. What is a router? It controls movement throughout your network. Okay. It sends packets. Okay. Lets people in and out. Okay. It routes things. A default gateway. That is the IP address of your router. Okay, on your local network that is used to deliver those packets to anywhere else, out in the world, out in the internet. Okay, your DNS, again, that is your phone book of the internet. It resolves host names to IP addresses. Okay, I tried to show you guys this, but is DNS essential for internet connectivity? Absolutely. Even though I could not recreate it the way I wanted to, but it is absolutely necessary. We talked about the two ways then that you can get the IP address, right? You can do it statically, which it comes from your DHCP server, or, right, dynamically comes from your DHCP server, or statically means I set it, right? And it is in stone until I go and change it, okay? Dynamic address comes from your DHCP server. 23. Why was IPv6 supposed to be a solution to IPv4? Well, we were technically running out of IPv4 addresses because we didn't have network address translation, or NAT. And so basically every device had an IP address of its own creation, right? Rather than one per like household, one per business. And so we were running out quickly. So they came up with IPv6, which has like 10 undecillion amounts of IP addresses that it can hand out. But it still hasn't really taken because we have network address translation. So basically everyone is handed a public IP address, right? So if I were to go to the web, what is my IP? This would be my IP address for my entire network. Whoops. Oh, no, come back. There we go. Yes, it should be a 66 number. Where is IP chicken? All right. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, so here is my public IP address. Okay. All of my devices on my network will show that as their IP address, which, as we know, you can't have the same IP address, right, for all the devices. Okay, well, with our router, right, with network address translation, it actually allows us to do that. So inside of our network, each device has its own private IP address, okay, but then you have that one public IP address. Again, you'll get back into that more into networking, but I'm just gonna kind of go through it. 24, what does file sharing in Windows 10 allow you to do? It allows you to share files from any folder on your computer or with the public folder with other computers via your LAN. Can you password protect a folder? Yes. We've talked a little bit about this, but how can you control who accesses your folder with permissions? We've done that already. 27, the share with menu item does what? Basically, it simplifies folder sharing by controlling your NTFS permissions and your share permissions at the same time. Life's simple, okay? What different ways can you connect to the internet? We have cable, okay? DSL, I don't think that's around very much anymore. Dial-up is no, I think they just disabled dial-up, but I could be wrong. And wireless, right? And then we also have fiber now as well. Windows Firewall. Ooh, Windows Firewall. All right, so again, there's multiple ways to skin this cat. Sorry for cat lovers, it's just a saying, right? There's multiple ways to do this, okay? So we can do settings, right? If you're a fan of settings, you can go through settings, or you can go through control panel, okay? Network and sharing. And then I have my Windows Defender firewall, okay? So this is a host-based firewall, okay? Meaning it's located on my host. So have them on, I have different preferences, right? So this is very straightforward. It tells me what I have turned on, what I don't, right? But then I can get more into the weeds, right? Turn, oops, that's not what I want to click. It's advanced settings, right? And then I can go through and block ports, open ports, and more finite details. Okay. What is one way to improve security on computers? For one, reduce the attack surface, right? Any unused ports, don't have them open, closed, right? So think of it this way, right? Would you have, so default allow, okay? Default allow is have everything open, okay, except for a few things that is closed, right? And then go through and close what you know is not needed, okay? Not a good thing, right? So like, I'm just going to go through and close a few doors because I know people come in and out, right, of your house, right, through the doors. I'm just going to close a few doors, but there's still the windows, there's still everything else, right? Not a good practice. Whereas we have default deny, it's close everything, and then we only open what we need, okay? So you have all your windows closed, all your doors closed, except for your one front door where, you know, you allow people to come in and out. Or like an Amazon package door if you have lots of money, right? So reduce that attack surface. Any unused services, disable, okay? Disable unused ports, don't allow them, okay? Advanced firewall configuration tool, again, allows you to create more of those complex rules, outgoing filtering, basically buttoning everything up, right? Windows was designed for usability, not for security, right? So inherently not the most secure. It a lot has probably, I would say, more default allow than default deny, but you know. All right, and then 32, what tools can you use to configure advanced firewall configuration? You can use the Windows firewall with advanced security. Okay, what we are in right now. Oops, let me pull this down right here. Okay, we can use NetSH. Okay, command line. You can use group policy. So I don't have my virtual machines a part of a domain, so it would be your it would be locally, I guess, but group policy editor. Okay, you create a group policy to configure it. You can also use PowerShell. Okay, all right, so ooh, I went a little long on this. That's okay. So basically, I have a few assignments for you. The study guide that we just went over. I want you to spin up a new VM because you need the extra practice. I want you to have the extra practice. It will be on your final. And then I have a little bit of an exercise on where to find stuff in networking, which, again, if you watch the video, it's going to be easy peasy. Like always, if you have questions, comments, concerns, issues, anything, please feel free to reach out to me. Discord, again, is the very best place to get a hold of me. Otherwise, you can shoot me an email. Canvas, I don't always get the notification, so I apologize if it takes me longer. But again, if you need to reach me urgently, just message me on Discord. All right, well, I hope you guys have a great week. See you next time.